Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ricky from Games Bandit. Pew pew! Doing another weekly video on the day in the life of a board game store owner because why not? And it's the perfect time to do it officially Monday morning at 1 a.m. Both kids are asleep. We've packed all the orders that were going out today with the little postage stamp ready for the post office to ship to you ASAP and get it into your hands. So why not make the weekly video now while we've got a little bit of downtime in before we go to sleep? Because why not? It's about that time. But I was a little bit hesitant about making this video because it's going to be a double-edged sword. The reality is chargebacks is going to be the center subject for this video. It's going to be one of those killers because it absolutely cuts at the knees at any business, small, big, medium size. It is the worst of the worst whenever you receive one. On average, I get about one in every 1 to 2 months. It's a common occurrence, and I've never officially won any of them. No matter how much evidence I give to the bank, no matter how much evidence I give to the middle person, which is Shopify, the service that we use in order to run our business online, I always seem to lose, and that's because the viewpoint by a lot of these banks is that the customer's always right and that the business is always in the wrong. And being a small business, I don't have lawyers, I don't have staff members being available or myself being available, throughout good portions of the week just to continually give follow-up phone calls or emails or messages, to constantly badger whoever's charging us the fee in order to win the case. And in a lot of these times that I've gone down that route of going the extra mile, trying to get back that extra $100 that we're out of pocket, we lost anyway. In fact, if I look at the last 30 chargebacks that our business has received, I've not won a single one. Absolutely insane. And so by making this video, I was a little bit sketched out because am I then going to invite other people to a methodology that they were unaware about to be able to scam myself and other people? Maybe. Maybe I'm trying to make this video to give a little bit of light, a little bit of a spotlight on this subject to hopefully change the ways of the way merchant facilities and banks work, and that maybe I can even use this video as a bit of evidence as the storyline in order to get this chargeback in specific that I'm dealing with right now. One, because all my video content so far on my weekly vids, deep diving into the business, I've always used real-time events or scenarios to be able to portray what's actually happening in this space. And we've got a really crispy one right here. I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to give you the punchline because the audaciousness of the claim in order for this person to win their money, to have their money returned and to give us a charge is absolutely insane. But again, this isn't the first time I've come across this trap, and it won't be the last. So let's walk through this line by line, or as it happened in the timeline. So just going back this last week, it's on a Saturday at about 2:30. I get an email popping up on my phone telling me that a customer's opened a chargeback for order 5696, and the bank is going to return 55.95 to the customer and charge you a $25 for this chargeback. So one thing you may not know if you haven't run a business before by yourself is that when a chargeback comes through, you automatically get a penalty of $25. Now, whether that's administration fees by the bank for having to do it, or whether it's like a back-end fee between one merchant facility to another, who knows? Either way, not only do you lose out on the sale of those funds, but you also get penalized at $25. And it's not something you can negotiate. You either win, it's like going to court. If you lose the court case, you're going to have to pay the lawyer fees for both yourself and also the person you lost against. If you won, you pay nothing. If anything, you get rewarded whatever you won in the court case. So, yeah. Anyway, Shopify gives you 3 ways to kind of deal with this. Add additional evidence that might help your case and review what we collected for you before it's submitted to the customer's bank. So in other words, Shopify usually puts out like an automated response at the time of this will be adjourned, which is going to be June 13th. So you have just over a month to put everything together. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I've put everything together before in earlier cases and it didn't change anything. The other point here is to contact the customer to resolve with them directly, or if you agree with the chargeback is justified, accept the chargeback and fees. Now, I always give everyone the benefit of the doubt when it comes to chargebacks, that potentially it's a mistake, potentially that the person wasn't aware about it. There are a lot of times that fraud or theft is committed where someone will steal someone else's credit card, use their information, you'll post out the item interstate, thousands and thousands of miles away, or they'll get the item, and then only months later do they find out that their card's been charged and you get charged back. Maybe it was their son, daughter, maybe it was a genuine, theft off the street, someone picking up a wallet and using it, or whatever else. But in this instance, for order 5696, I went over and checked what it was for, and it was for one of the new Star Wars Unlimited Spark of the Rebellion 2-player starter, which is absolutely mind-boggling, going off the Richter scale right now with regards to popularity. It's the new card game everyone's trying to get their hands on. One thing you'll notice about this is that it's not a big-ticket item. Now, the reality is, the common theme of all the chargebacks is that it's usually their first order, and usually it's for an item for, $50 to $200. If someone ordered something out of our store, or a lot of items for the power of about $1,000 to $2,000, and I'd never dealt with them before, being a small business, I usually just give them a call to say, hey, just confirming you've made this order, that it's going to be coming out, yada, 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 and we get that complete alignment. But when a single order comes through, we're not going to police every single order that comes through the business. It's just not how we roll. It'd be absolutely insane if I had to do that from an administration point of view, to check every time someone made an individual order. You just never would do it. So small ticket items are usually what come through from chargebacks. We have lost cases of fraud before, where in another video last year, I posted the eBay scam where we were out $2,000, where the person internationally in the United States claimed that the item that they received was stolen, and we were out of pocket, and that we never sent the item according to them, even though we had all the documentation and tracking, etc. But yeah, going back to here, this is only a local one. This is someone who lives in WA. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that this is a mistake, hence why I've blurred out their name, address, and all the details and everything that I'm going to be covering. So, single ticket item, Spark of the Rebellion 2-player set. It's very hot property. If this was a genuine theft case, they could easily resell it for that, or even more at the moment, because they're, in a very low supply but very high demand. So going over to the next one, what did I do with regards to this? As soon as I got that chargeback, I looked at the person's order and I gave him a call, and I went to Message Bank. I didn't leave a message, but I left an email the next day. I said, I'm going to refer to this person as Tony. His name's not Tony, but we'll refer to him as Tony. I received the below email with a chargeback submission for this order per the claim that it was defective or damaged, as it reads in the email below. This is really important. When you look at the chargeback claim, to understand why they're making that claim. So at the top of here, it says the customer told their bank that the product they received was defective or damaged. Okay. Did the customer anytime reach out to me to tell me that it was defective or damaged? No. So I couldn't have done anything about it. But going back, I called you on the phone number that you entered on the order, and so I document everything out very thoroughly in these emails to ensure that the person's on the same page. Maybe, someone did commit fraud and steal their card. Who knows? Give them the benefit of the doubt, as I said. Yesterday on Saturday, the 4th of May, upon receiving this chargeback in the hope of clearing this up, I've not received a return call as of writing this email on Sunday, the 5th of May, 7 p.m. Even though, more than a day overlaps, it's pretty common people don't return calls. I'm not going to put someone down as a scammer just because they didn't return a call. That would be absolutely insane. I do always leave my number. I never call on private. And I said down here, per the Shopify data log and Ozpost data log below, the item was shipped to you on Thursday, the 2nd of May. So 2 days earlier, the item was shipped. And when we send anything out, if the customer put their email address, they will receive an automated email to say that their item's been shipped from Shopify, on behalf of Games Bandit, in addition to Australia Post, we always check that the tracking's on as well. So it's like a double confirmation that they receive the tracking and the fact that it's been posted in two different methods here. That's really important to know. So 2 days earlier, they got confirmation by two different methods to say, we've sent this out, right? Per the AusPost log, the item is not delivered at this stage. This is really interesting. So when we look at the Australia Post log, which I'll scroll down to in just a second, what you'll see is that the item was posted, in fact, on the 2nd of May. As you can see, item processed at facility in Chullora in New South Wales. It's in transport to Welshpool, WA on Friday, and even on Sunday at the time of making that email, and also at the time of this call, it's still sitting in transit. The customer has not received the order or the item to be able to determine to do the chargeback on the basis of it being defective or damaged, right? Now, this is the punchline. This is the absolute kicker, right? You're probably going to sit there and say to me, Rick, well, that's an easy open book closed case. You've got the Australia Post tracking. You've written down an email. You've sent it to them. Anyone at any time can also check the tracking to identify and to clarify and confirm that at the time of making their chargeback claim that it's false. It's basically fraud. Shopify and the bank should clearly take your side, give you back the $55.95, and also not penalize you $25. It seems so simple, right? It's not going to be the case. So I have to be extremely thorough in anything that I write to this person in order to potentially win. And like I said, this happens once, every 1 to 2 months. It's always a losing pattern. I say down here, I even say to him, I'm not sure how a chargeback submission can be created for the reason of the item being defective or damaged if you haven't received the item yet. I'm still giving the complete benefit of the doubt that this is a mistake and would super appreciate you stopping the chargeback, as we're a small family business and the impact to our pocket on this hurts a lot, which it does. I'll get to the numbers in just a second down below because I know you guys are thirsty for the numbers. And I even give the guy an out of an exit here. If you no longer want the item, please ship it back, and when you do receive it, I can simply push through a refund. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I put my thank you, Rick Warner, and I put my number down at the bottom of the email. At the bottom of the email, if you want to call it the appendix, I screenshot and copy paste this at the bottom of the email, so he's got it, as well as the tracking, so everyone's on the same page. The fact that this email was also sent to him, I've also clipped, which says, by the automated system of Shopify, you sent a shipping confirmation email to that person's email. The tracking below, order 5696, went out in 12/12 at Thursday 2nd of May. So the only thing I can think of here is that this gentleman saw that the tracking, he got sent the tracking on the Thursday. The item was shipped. He's gone to his, online banking portal. And this is how easy and ridiculous the system is now, right? All you got to do, go to your online banking, website, Combank, ING, whoever you use, go to your everyday transactions. There's usually like 3 little dots next to each transaction. Click on it and click chargeback, right? Or did not receive. Put your little reason in there, and next thing you know, the bank is automatically siding with you, and you're guilty before you've got to prove that you're innocent, or in this case, prove that this person's lying. And we'll basically be submitting this, and that's my name and number at the bottom of the email. That's the email in its total state. So as you can see, guys, absolutely insane. This is just another snippet and a bit of an inside look as to what business owners, and it's not just me, any and every industry goes through this. It's absolutely ludicrous, but I'm really hoping that we go beyond the tipping scales of how absolutely out of the box this has become with businesses and the way banks operate and merchant facilities and how much it actually hurts. because they're just winning on the fact that they can just say that, and we will put together all the evidence. I'll even put this video URL in there with everything that we've said, the email, the snippets. Give them all the evidence, send it, and I bet you we still lose. I'm 0 for 30 so far, and I'm imagining I'm going to be 0 for 31. But you can see how audacious it is to actually say that it's defective or damaged, and you haven't even received the item. The tracking hasn't even said that. So, I don't know. Don't even know what you can do about this. Absolutely insane. But looking at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. How much are we out of pocket? What do we have to do in order to recoup this as a small business owner? So, I'm going to round everything. I already did this in advance because I knew you guys would really like something like this. I rounded everything up to the closest denomination of unit 10. So the sale of the item, I told you, is $55.95. It's actually, so I've rounded up to $60. So yeah, $60 was the sale. The item itself, I've rounded that to $40 because that's how much it cost. Shipping was like $10.90 to send it to WA because it was less than 500 grams. I've rounded that to $10, and I've put the charge back of $25. So all in all, what are we actually out of pocket? Because if that guy wins the case, right, he gets his $60 back. He gets to keep the $40 item. I am out of pocket paying $10 for the shipping to get it there. And by the way, someone's going to suggest in the comments, well, just call Australia Post and tell them to, like, not deliver it. That doesn't work. Australia Post does not work in that system. Even though they've got barcodes and they've got, you know, different checks that they go to each center, I can't just call, like, the AusPost directory or customer service and say, I want to cancel this and return it because they've scammed me. It's not how it works. I wish it did. And there have been a lot of cases where someone's called me up and said, I've moved address and I need to change where it's going to, or I've given you the wrong address. Can you change it? I can't change it. It's just how Australia Post works. It's how every postal system works, right? Mail guy gets it. He puts it into the branch of wherever it says on the label. That gets to the next, you know, center, distribution center, and it goes on and on until it gets to the eventual person. The chargeback is $25. As I said, nothing I can do about that. Out-of-pocket expenses. When you add everything up, $135 reduce. Can you believe that? I'm out of pocket $135 reduce for the privilege of doing business with whoever this customer was, whoever this gentleman was. We'll refer to him as Tony. Thank you, Tony. And so, what can I do, right? If we just talk about specific units of sale, being the 2-player starter set. Now, we've already established the profit is about $10 because if the item is selling for $60, it costs me $40, shipping's $10. I make about $10 out of that, right? In order for me to recoup $135, I have to sell 13.5 units. I have to sell 14 units of the 2-player starter set in order to break even. Doesn't that sound absolutely like crazy in the grand scheme of things? And mind you, I made a footnote here. That $10 profit is before overheads and other costs. Like merchant fees, you think about if the customer used Afterpay, I'd be out of pocket 6%. If they use PayPal, it costs me 30 cents plus 2.9% of the sale. If they use the regular merchant facility like Amex, it's about 2.7%. And other considerations like my time. Like this $10 profit doesn't take into the storage, you know, electricity, my own time, etc., etc. So that is how absolutely ludicrous this scenario is, and how much one person or one chargeback or one scammer or one fraudulent person going around business to business, you know, scheming off the top, trying to get these little deals done in chargebacks. And like I said, in this specific case, I'm giving the customer the benefit of the doubt because it's still live. For all we know, the person might turn around and say, I had a legitimate reason why I wanted to charge you back. This is why. Maybe, I don't know. I can't even make it up. Talking about story time, I can't even make it up, that fairy tale. Maybe, the dog ate his homework is the old excuse. But the fact that the banks just side like that and you've got to like go the extra tooth and nail to get anything out of this is insane. So we're going to package this all up, put it in a nice little, evidence package for Shopify to go defend on our behalf. Obviously, I can't talk to the bank directly because I don't know who the bank is, whatever, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I thought this would be like a cool little vid just to give a little bit of an insight. I know it's not the best of the best vids, given that it's not an optimistic one, but it's a reality check. It's a reality check for anyone out there who's looking to start a small time business. You're going to be in this position. You're going to be frustrated. There's nothing you can really do. The other considerations of what you can do is charge higher for something else in order to make back the potential losses you are going to have through theft. And that's what some businesses will end up doing or have done. It's going to be like the public transport system where they say you need to pay $6 a ticket, where actually we should only be charging you $3, but because 10% of the people, fare hop or don't pay the fare, we have to inbuild that in our costs. So that's the crazy society that we're in. And just shooting that video off, but it's now almost 1:30. Why not get this video uploaded? Thank you for your time, really appreciate it. And if you want a specific video on a specific topic, let me know, guys. Let me know. I will put in the comments down below on the YouTube video on the June when this whole case is concluded, if we ended up winning or if it was another loss. I'm not too optimistic about the stance it's going to take. We'll see what happens. Thanks so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Take it easy. Whoosh.